Hey everyone, welcome back to Land of the Wombats. It's your bad old Uncle Chris here to share some off-grid pirate lifestyle stories. And this property is located on the side of an ancient volcano. It's hopefully extinct, that's the plan. And in order to create flat land around the house, we had to cut into the side of the hill. So what happens is you take soil from that side, which is the uphill side, and you bring it over onto the downhill side. Now the house foundations sit right into the ground, and they go down like 10 feet. It's crazy. There's so much concrete in there. It's just like, it's insane. Anyway, enough of that. When we first moved up here, we were trying to work out how do you live on a site like this and produce stuff. And really a lot of the locals really couldn't give us any useful information. So we had a look over at the old 19th century hill station gardens over in the more fashionable western end of the range, and that's over there. They get a little bit more rains, and it's got a better aspect to the sun, so it's slightly damper over there, and you can create some beautiful English style gardens. It's actually really nice. But we are on about a 10-degree slope. The entire range is pretty much on a 10-degree slope, so it doesn't matter where you go. Unless you're right up on the peak, and that'd be crazy up there because it's so windy. So we had to work out, how do you deal with all the conditions that you get? One of the things that we use on the edge of any flat area is large rocks. Now the large rocks, they collect water when you have a big rainfall event. Now because we're up in the mountains, so you can have like minor tornadoes. You can even have like supercells, which will dump 100 mils or 4 inches of rain in an hour. So the water can actually just start pulling up, and it runs from the downhill. Obviously gravity drives it downhill, or sorry, it runs from the uphill, and water runs downhill by gravity. And then it pulls up against these rocks. All the rocks do wonderful things because they disperse the water flow. Otherwise you'll get erosion channels just forming, and it'll just take all the soil with you, and eventually you won't have any house left. So you stop the erosion here. The other thing that we do is create paths. Now paths are flat areas in between each downward layer of soil, and the paths serve to further break up the water flow. So if water actually pulls onto that path, it will then break up again, and then it'll lose energy as it goes down the hill. So it's just all about slowing the water in that area. Now this path down below, immediately down below here, it's on one of the steepest sections of the property, because as you take soil from the uphill side and you push it downhill, you create an unnaturally steep slope, and this can be a problem for water. Obviously it's a problem, and we also need access to it, because otherwise weeds and all sorts of things can grow in here. We had a whole bunch of woody shrubs growing in here, and that was great habitat for rabbits and rats and all sorts of things that we don't really want. Yeah, I'm not interested in feeding those guys. So this path down below, we're going to open it up, make it wider so that we can get machines in there, but we have to actually upgrade all the rocks in there. We're going to realign the path so that it runs straight, and here's when we discovered something really interesting about the path. So let's go check that out. So in order to upgrade the rocks on this path, I started driving them up to the top of the staircase up there, and then picking them up, walking them down the hill, down the stairs there, which are concrete, so it's quite convenient. But they're heavy rocks, and it was starting to get a whole lot of hard work, and I was going, well, this is stupid. So Sandra actually suggested that we create a new path between the level over there and the level here, which will create a little triangular garden bed here, and have an absolutely smooth flat path here, and we can just drive this machine straight through. It's so obvious in hindsight. So that's what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks. We just have to break some rocks, some of the boulders down below, to get some rocks to create a retaining wall in this area here, and then we'll backfill this area here with soil and create a nice flat wide path. It's going to be awesome. got to get onto that job though pretty soon. So yeah, and that's what's going on. So you'll be able to drive from that level there to here and just dump the rocks there, and I won't have to be lifting them up and down the hill, which will, it's a bit hard. Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all next week.